Hello, my name is Vivian Martinez and I will be presenting to you assignment 2. So I already started running the program. It begins with a welcome message saying welcome to the CS homework tracker, and then it asks for the type of assignment. There are 3 types: an exam, quiz, or homework. So exam is E, quiz is Q, and homework is H. The user should only be putting 1 letter. I did make this case insensitive, so first I want to start with homework. I'm gonna input the name. I'm gonna just say homework 1, a description, date, and a grade. So I did put a reminder that you must input at least 1 assignment of each type for an accurate grade average. I felt like this reminder was necessary because of how grade weights work. Like, you might have most of your final grade may depend on maybe your exams or your homework, and you may have grades for just an exam type, but you have no grades input for a quiz or homework. So automatically, if you have nothing for the other 2, you're gonna have a 0%, and because of how grade weights work, that could take a toll on your actual final average grade, even if you have a good exam average. But if there's nothing for the other averages, they're just zeros. So that's why I wanted to put that reminder, because it won't give you an accurate grade if you don't have at least 1 for each type. So I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna go for a quiz. Put in the date. Let me give it a different grade. Do the same thing for exam. And then I'm going to put just 1 more exam, just so I have more than at least one of the types, just to show you that the weights actually be working. Make it a final chapter 10 and make it 69. So now I'm done putting. I don't feel like the need to keep adding more. So it's going to list every single one that I put, how I had my homework 1. It has the name, the description, the date, and the grade, and it does this for all of them. If I kept going, the list would be longer. And then it displays the average grade for each type. So my average grade for homework was an 89, a 91 for quizzes, and then a 72 for exams, because I did take 2 exams. But my final grade average in the entire class will be an 86.2. So it's very accurate. I've double checked everything with the weights as well as the grades, and everything looks good. And in the case that you don't put anything, it's just going to be 0, 0, 0, and it's not going to be a no value. It'll just be a 0%. So now, looking over the actual coding. So here is my program, my main program, driver file pretty much, and then I have my base class. So my base class is assignment, where I have these private variables for the name, the description, the date, and the grade. You do see how, like, this is automatically going to be used by the exam, homework, and quiz class. So we have our constructor. Here is like the values. It automatically goes into the name, the description, the date, and the grade. The next one are get and set. They're just being used as accessors. The get just returns the name. The set actually sets the name to the value, like sets the value to the name. So we do that for all 4. And then the last function that we're going to use is this toString function I created for my formatting. So this format is when I had outputted the types and the name, description, date, and grade, all of them. So this format's used by all of the classes. So now let's actually look at the classes. So you see how our class exam refers back to the base class of assignment. We have our content type, which is E, and our const double weight, which is 0.2 for 20%. And that is how we're accessing the weights. The weights are actually accessed through the classes, not as local variables as per the instructions of the assignment. So we have a destructor, although we don't really use it, it's just there just in case. And then we are using our get into the count, the type, and the weight, and then our formatting function. So this is the same in both the homework, except for obviously it's type H and the weight is 50%, 0.5, and then quiz is Q and the weight is 30%, which is 0.3. Now let's look at the driver file. So here I initialize the assignment type, the string name, description, date, and the double grade. And then I made default values, all of them are zeros. And this is for the average grades for each type as well as the final grade average. And then we are like a reminder, the only reason I did weight as a default as 0 is just because of null values. I don't want any null values to give the programming error. And then I have a default as 0 for the count. So first we create a list of an assignment type, and I'm going to call it ACGN for assignments. And so we initialized, made a new one. This was just for testing purposes. I had done that. So here in our console right, this is just outputting the welcome message. We're going to enter our loops. So the more items, initially we will get to the more items, that's just to keep the loop going. So while true, so this is when we ask for the assignment type. Like I mentioned before, I did make this in case insensitive, so that's why I use that to upper function when I'm reading the line. And because it's only one character, I only have space for one character. That's the assignment type. And then we're pretty much error checking and making sure that the assignment type is an E, H, or Q. If it's any other letter or number whatsoever, it is an invalid input, and I will keep asking the user to make sure the assignment must be E for exam, Q for quiz, H for homework, and it will make them try again until I get a valid input. So I'm going to have the same type of error checking for the next few. The only difference in this one is I'm making sure that the string is not null, it's not empty. So until they write an actual valid input, it will keep going. Same thing for description and date. Now when it comes to grade is a little bit different. I read the line, I made it a string. I do the try parse because I'm trying to make sure that the string becomes a double and have it as the assignment grade. This is just for error checking. I have to make sure that the grade is a number or it will not work. So that right line was just for an extra space, and now we have gotten to the part where we're asking if we want to input more assignments. Here's my reminder, and then it's a yes or it's a Y or an N. You read the line to upper. I made it case insensitive. We do the try parsing for the option again, and if it's not a Y or an N, we're going to ask the user that the option must be Y or an N, and that they have to keep trying again until you put a valid input. Now I'm adding in the information using the add function of the list. So now we have a new exam. For if it's an E, it's going to be new exam, and then obviously the name, description, date, and grade all gets passed in, and then the same thing goes for homework and quiz. Now if the option equals N, we are no longer doing more items and we break out of the loop. So now we've gotten to the output. Here I use the for each. This is just for printing out all of the the name, the description, the grade, and the weight, and having it the format that I wanted all of them to be in. So they're all going to be printed out with the same type of format, just made it very organized and easy. And then here we've got into the calculations. So when you're going into the calculation, if the item is exam, the average is gonna have like the item dot grade. We're gonna have the grade added onto the average, and then the count goes up, and then we're gonna access the weight from that class. So we'll get the actual weight and make it the weight of the exam, which is, I believe, 0.3 if I remember correctly. No, 0.2, which is 20%. So the same thing goes for homework, and their averages, count, weight, and same thing goes for quiz. Now, because I did not want to have any issues with no values, I make sure that I'm asking if the count is greater than 0, then we're going to calculate the average. So else it's going to just be at 0. I'm just going to keep it at 0. And then because if the count is 0, the average should also be 0. Now we actually calculate the final grade by having the average of each type times the weight of each type, which I mentioned before has now been changed to the actual correct weight once it accessed the class. And then we're going to do a write line, and we're going to print out each average grade of each type with the final average. And that is my homework tracker. Thank you for watching.